Alrighty, hello. My name is Charles Dotson, and I, along with these three people, were in charge of the art portion of the two projects that were just shown. Joining me is team lead
Adam Pulse.
Alrighty. First step was simply doing. There's our cool little title page that Adam made. Alright, the first stage was coming up with concept art, which all of us did. Pretty much the two teams came up and said, we want to do a game about this, and here's basically what we're thinking. So we took that and just started making drawings, coming up with things. Not all of them got used, a lot of them got thrown onto the cutting room floor, either because someone came up with a better design, or because the whole object ended up getting cut out of the original version of the game. No problem, but basically all of us sat around and started making drawings until we came up with something that we liked. Once we got past that stage, it was time to start making the models. And first stage of that, after we got everything modeled, was getting them up and moving. And basically how we divvied that up amongst ourselves was to have whoever came up with the design basically model, rig, and animate it. So in this case, the elephant was done by Gorn. So he came up with the agreed upon design with his crazy, bony, skeletal monster elephant, and he proceeded to model and rig it. This was a minor enemy that got axed out of the original. This is a minor enemy that got cut out of the original of the Path of Cleansing, which was a kind of minor zombie-like monster. And then he walks, he idles, he swings at you, and he dies. Everything that a minor enemy should do. This is the main character of Path of Cleansing. These are the hand-done keyframes that Adam had put together. And this is the minor enemy of Install, or one of two minor enemies. Hobbles around, he melees. He doesn't have a set animation for shooting, he kind of does it while he's walking. But the textures that are on here, they're not fancy with lighting and everything, they're basically the textures that we dumped into Maya while we're trying to see and piece everything together. This is the boss. All of his little play blast animations strung back to back. His guns pop out. He walks. One of the main things that we were talking about earlier was the walk cycle on him, because he's got 4 legs. He doesn't actually lunge forward until like the last step, which makes it kind of hard to piece together when he's going to move. But I'd say they did a pretty good job of putting it all together. So he's got to turn. He's a slow lumbering guy. Well, it fits pretty well with the story that they came up with, which while I'm thinking about it, for that matter. A really interesting part of the whole process for me was communication between the two groups. Like this guy originally, he was, oh, he dies. Everyone wants to see that information. Was originally that it was going to be this big, blockish golem-like thing, which would have been pretty lame, but it was all I could come up with at the time. And then I was hearing these guys talk about their weapon, how it was this transforming ball that would have little cartridges plugged into it that you would have to blow out because they had too much dust in them. And from, oh yeah, and Jim. He's pretty good at dancing.
It's just like
just like you. And from there, I was overhearing them also talk about the story, how there would be a more interesting element to make the main character more involved with this particular mission. So I took those two unrelated ideas and said, hey, what if the boss was the prototype for this little icon that followed the main character around? So that's where he came from. These are the textures. All of them, little pelts, a little UI for the dartboard. Jim's texture, the boss's texture. His face is kind of creepy when it's pelted out. Yeah, you're creepy. All right up there. These are just some still images that are screenshots out of Maya. destroyed boss. It's a bit of an Easter egg in Install Scoop. It was originally going to be the wandering around spider enemy, but Adam had a rig and animations already set up for his version of the spider bot, so we went with his and made mine this big destroyed boss that's kind of like the player wanders in and goes, oh hey, what's this big thing? I have to shoot it. Oh wait, it's already dead. Well, I wonder what killed it. You turn around, it's a big stilts-like ball trying to kill you. I made the presentation too, can you tell? It's my spider ball. I like them a lot. These are just some little animated concepts for how I kind of envisioned him to look. Back before I realized that we couldn't have fancy glow effects at the time. So just little extras I made. And one more. He's got to add, of course. Everyone loves a death animation. That's the best part of making things. Exactly. He's reaching for you. He's reaching. And then guys.
Questions? Another segue in the room. So how was really working with computer scientists? What was the common language?
We want to make things that look cool. So make things that look cool. Oh yeah, lots of curse words. But probably the biggest thing was making sure that everyone was communicating, because the instant people stopped talking to other people, then things get lost, things get forgotten about, and that's really the main thing. It wasn't hard to do, just that you had to remember to constantly do it.
So have you found them really nerds, as everyone said?
I'm making giant stilt robots that shoot lasers. I don't think I can call people a nerd. I don't think I have the moral high ground to do that.
Two of the artists worked with us last year on this project. How was the experience this year compared to the one last year? Did it prepare you last year to be with a different group? And was the process similar?
Well, it made it a lot easier just to get everything set up in the playground. Like, right when Jim told them that they're making their games, I made sure I went to both teams and say, hey, everything you're thinking of, it's not going to happen. You made, like, your main character and a boss to start with, because a lot of it's not going to get implemented just because of time. So just having that in mind too, we started models for those earlier and kind of filled in the rest as they needed it. I know we still, even being prepared, we're up, last night to get ready for the presentation before just like the Twitter group. So that and yeah.